All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. We've got Sandy on the phone, Callie and Claire Ryder, and I think Lo is also on here. So with that, we will.
We also have Dee in the room with me just because she's working, so I'll make a note of that. Dee down.
Okay. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. Sandy, have you had a chance to look them over?
Yes, and they looked fine to me.
Okay, I have a digitally signed copy. I looked them over and then just went ahead and signed them. I'll email that to you shortly.
Okay.
And I tried to send you a little tutorial on how to digitally sign using the free version of Acrobat, just the Acrobat reader, that is. It didn't go through on your email, so I may have to post that on YouTube and just send you the link. But we're not going to be able to get it all signed today, or at least not right now. So.
And I can put it in the mail for you.
Yeah, can you just, Callie, can you just send it over to Vernon when
Yeah.
it's not there?
I can send it home with Vernon when he comes in.
Yeah, that'd work.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor of accepting well, I guess we need a motion. I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll go ahead and second that. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye. Let's move on to the contract for the Lions Club. What changes do we need to make? Probably just dates, I assume.
They had wanted to make the change that we would just have a flat fee for their service and the mileage, because submitting the paperwork for mileage is time consuming, and the checks were going to the individual members who were then turning around and giving it back to the Lions Club. Their average mileage is $90. They would propose $50 fee. To the normally the fee is $600 with plus mileage. They would like for it to just be $650, and it would be the normal fee plus $50 for mileage. Instead of them submitting individual claims, the money will just go to the Lions.
Okay, so the $50 then will cover all of their mileage.
Right.
Okay.
Instead of them turning in claims, they just felt like that was a good compromise. It's usually around 90, and they thought 50 would be a compromise, and it would eliminate the additional paperwork for them.
That's good to me. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, it sounds like a deal all around. I mean, yeah, it saves money and saves them the trouble.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we accept that for the Lions Club, paying them $650.
And I would second that. Callie, we just need to see a copy of that before you send it to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Ted look over it and make sure the wording's correct, and then I'll have you review it before we send it over.
Okay.
All in favor of making these changes as proposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So Callie will be reviewing that with the county attorney and then sending a copy to us, and it will forward on to the Lions Club after that.
Okay.
You ready to move on?
Yes.
Let's go over the changes to the election. You can all those details, Callie, so I'll let you take it.
Do that later.
Okay, so the election day was moved to June 2nd. We've known that for a little while. That changes some of the deadlines. So the voter registration deadline is now May 4th. The pre-primary campaign finance reports are now due May 15th, and as of last Friday, they've changed the early voting days, so those are now May 26th through June 1st. That's only one Saturday of early voting. And then, of course, the election day will be on June 2nd. They've also changed the ABS applications, or the applications requesting absentee ballot, to a no fault for the primary election, which means anyone can request an absentee ballot. There is a new form available to just streamline it. Check out the section where it asks you to choose your reason. Both the new form and the old form are acceptable. So if anyone submitted the old form, they don't need to submit the new one. And that was just for convenience, to take out the section that would have been confusing if they had to choose a reason. The state is working on an online version. I don't know if that's going to happen, and I don't have a timeline on that. It's just something potentially in the works. Applications are accepted via mail, email, fax, and when we're open, they can bring them in. As of yesterday, we received 115 applications, and we have 40 return ballots. It seems like every week we're getting more. I've been working with the emergency management and health department to deal with safety issues that we're going to have to deal with this election that we don't normally have to deal with. The state is also going to be providing us with training and guidelines to follow. Locally, we are working on getting the PPE and the cleaning supplies, and the state is supposed to help us with that. I don't know how much help they'll be able to provide, so at this point we're going to move forward, not counting on that, to make sure that we're prepared in case they aren't able to give us much. We're also going to go to the polling locations, the health department, and emergency management, over with them, just to get an idea of layout that will provide us with the safest polling locations as we can. Does anybody have any questions at this point before I keep rolling through this?
No, so the state does not provide us with any of like the PPE and the cleaning supplies and stuff. We'll just go out and get that ourselves.
We will be responsible for that, and the health department, emergency management do have supplies.
Okay.
So I'm going to work with them and crunch numbers, and I would like to just plan on not getting anything from the state. That way we are prepared either way. I mean, it'd be fantastic if they can give us stuff, but I don't want to wait till the last minute and they're not able to. So.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you send an email with all those date changes, if you would?
Yes, and the state's updated their website too, just FYI, with the new calendars. And sorry, my emails didn't, with the new calendar. So okay. Any other questions on that?
No, I have nothing.
Okay, and then we're going to have to, let me see if I can get this switched over. I'm not a Zoom professional. Pull up the calendar for the polling location. Okay, can you guys see that, the polling location? Sorry, Sandy.
Okay.
Okay, so with the changes to the early voting, we will be losing a Saturday. And this is the schedule as of right now. The second Saturday we would have had Burlington, Liberty, Flora, and then the courthouse. The first Saturday before we would have Deer Creek, Yeoman, Flora, 4-H building, and then the courthouse. And then election day, we'd have Burlington, Camden, the Methodist Church in Delphi, the courthouse in Delphi, Flora, Porch Building, and the Yeoman Methodist Church. So with the changes to the early voting, we will only have one Saturday. So we need to make some adjustments to polling locations. Some other considerations to factor in is that if we have increased amount of absentee ballots, we are going to have to process those. And if we do have all of our 6 voting locations on election day, our machines are going to be deployed to polling locations. So we are going to have a difficult time getting those ballots processed on election day. It may be the next day before we have results. And I just want to stress, this is a problem in every county. This is not just us. The Secretary of State has brought this up in press conferences, that due to the expected increase in absentee ballots, we should expect delays across the state with election results coming in, just because of the added work it's going to be for every county to process the increase in absentee ballots. So I'll leave that open to discussion if we want to kind of chat and figure out what locations we want to do on the early Saturday, and if we wanted to consider any modifications to our election day locations.
Well, I was going to ask if you're recommending we select different ones for that one early voting, or if you were saying that we needed to do, well, we can't do all of them because we don't have enough machines for all of them, but is that what you're recommending, is that we select 4 of them to do for early voting?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. To have 4 on early voting Saturday?
Yeah, because typically that's what we have is 4.
Right. Well, I don't know if we want to make any modifications since we're going to lose that Saturday. The second Saturday we would have had boroughs, which we don't have any other day.
Okay. So who else did we have on that day? Burroughs and
We have Burlington, which we do on election day.
yeah.
We have Flora, which we do on election day, and the courthouse we do on election day. So we're losing boroughs, the Liberty Township Fire Department.
Okay.
If we want to remain at just 4 locations on Saturday, the 2 locations on that Saturday that we will have election day, which would be the courthouse and Flora. Or we can, if you want to do 5 locations, we could do 5.
5 on Saturday?
Potentially, and we also have to keep in mind we're going to have to get cleaning supplies to all those locations,
Yep.
and staffing for workers, and making sure we have enough masks and everything for everyone.
Yeah, because poll workers is what I'm afraid is going to be a problem this year. I've already heard from a couple of people that have said, that they would not do it this year. They love to do it, but they wasn't going to do it.
Okay.
So we'll have to see that. That's what I'm afraid of. We're going to have problems getting the workers. So I'm thinking we should go do the 3 or 4 on that Saturday.
Okay. Drew, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm racking my brain here.
I know.
I know that we don't normally do, I hate to exclude anyone, but Deer Creek, we do very low numbers when we do early voting there anyway.
And I have gotten a lot of absentee ballots from Deer Creek.
But if we move, if we move Burlington to that Saturday, I guess that's not an issue because we still use the same poll workers that we would have the Saturday before, right?
I would assume so. And Burlington is on election day. So I don't know if we just want to, the locations that we have on election day, maybe not be so concerned with those since they will have in-person voting there on election day. Whereas Liberty and Deer Creek do not have polling locations on election day.
It's kind of tough because you don't want to replace Yeoman or 4-H building in Flora because even on election day they get some big numbers.
Right.
So about the only thing we could do is add Liberty if we could get set up for that. Connection wise, there's typically a good connection for the Wi-Fi card there. Not so much in Deer Creek, but I mean we're going to do that anyway. But yeah, so that's not an issue.
So Drew, you're wanting to increase the number of polling locations on Saturday to include Liberty.
I would say if we're not going to eliminate anyone and we want to keep everybody having an equal chance to vote early, I think that's what we have to do because everybody else will have that opportunity to vote in their own area, including election day.
So then on election day, that would make Delphi, Flora, and who else?
We have Burlington, Camden, the Delphi Methodist Church, the Delphi Courthouse, Flora, and Yeoman.
Okay, then that would be on election day. What about on Saturday?
On Saturday, we have Deer Creek, Yeoman, Flora, the courthouse, and the one that would be missing would be Liberty.
Okay.
So, of Deer Creek, Yeoman, Flora, and the courthouse on the early voting Saturday, you believe we need to keep all of those? That those are high number. They have high numbers.
Well, if we were going to eliminate anyone, I'd say Deer Creek because they only on early voting. I think if you look back at the numbers, I think they get maybe 8 people.
And we can certainly set another meeting if we want to have further discussion. I just want to make a decision sooner than later so that we can get information out to the public.
Yeah.
Andy,
Go ahead.
Andy, what are your feelings on? Do you think we need to eliminate, or should we just add Liberty to that Saturday to give everybody an opportunity, or what?
I have no problem with that. I mean, the more people we can get to vote early, the better off we're going to be on election day.
Right.
And maybe it'll be easier to work as far as the contamination, the keeping everybody safe and everything like that. Maybe it'll be easier with a smaller group. So I have no problem with that, Drew.
Yeah, I guess, Callie, I'm leaning towards adding Liberty since we have to condense it. We don't want to eliminate Liberty because they are pretty far out there. So otherwise, you'd make those people drive all the way into town to vote.
Okay, so Drew wants to add Liberty to the Saturday yesterday, making Saturday 5 locations instead of 4. Sandy, my understanding, you would like to reduce the number?
No, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with adding the 5th one.
So is this a decision? Do you want to make a motion on that?
Now, I make a motion that we add Liberty to May 30th, have 5 polling locations for early voting.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? No.
Okay, and then looking at election day, we got 6 polling locations. Are you comfortable with keeping it at 6?
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't see any way that we can really change that. We need to stick as close to normal as possible.
Okay. And would you need to set that expectation that if we do have an increased amount of absentee ballots, you may run into issues with getting everything counted on election day? And I have discussed this with Michelle with the SNS.
Okay.
In deploying all of our machines as we normally would, we may have trouble getting those numbers done by election day. It may be something that we're going to have to count on the next day as well.
Okay, and is this something that you're going to make sure that the public knows? I'm sure Debbie will take care of it.
Well, that's what I want to make sure that we, by making the decisions not to reduce any locations, we do need to set that expectation that people understand that we may have issues getting everything processed that day, and this is going to be a statewide problem, not just your opinion.
Okay.
So here's a question for you, Callie. Does that mean that poll workers, Clara, and everyone has to stay until everything's voted? Or counted?
My understanding was we could reconvene the next day, and I can get details on that. Some changes have been made in the IEC orders recently to kind of relax some of the regulations, which includes the poll workers, that we can bring in poll workers who don't reside in the county, but they, as long as they are registered voter in the state of India. And there's a couple other things that are put in place. So I can give some definitive answers on what our procedure would be if we do have to roll into the next day, if we're unable to get everything counted. And I think we'll have a better idea probably the week before election, once we are nearing the end of the absentee ballot applications, to be able to look at our numbers and know where we're at going into election day.
Yeah, I just know that's a long day to begin with, and I'm a little bit younger than some of those that are going to be doing the counting, so I'm just a little concerned that would be a really long day if we have to keep them.
I think there's some options in place through some of these other orders, and I will go through those and have some more definitive answers. I didn't know if we would consider reducing polling locations, which was not one option to free up machines for absentee ballots. Since we're not doing that, we're going to be kind of limited. But again, we don't know. I don't have numbers until we're closer to the election. I know that the election's right around the corner, yet it's far enough away. We just aren't real sure what we're going to be going into when we come up in June.
Okay. Yeah, the public's just going to have to, some of them won't like it, but they're just going to have to be patient. Right. Because it's a different situation this year. So.
Right. The good thing with the election getting pushed out is we were able to get our maintenance done before the election. We had 2 machines that were serviced, so we are in great shape equipment-wise. And I would like to get a letter out to the voters in the form of like a newsletter that's folded and has the absentee ballot application in it. I think that would make it easier for people if they're getting that in the mail. People who are having a hard time figuring out what they're supposed to do, and then have the locations, the early voting locations and election day locations in there, so that people know that we have a reduced amount of days available for the primary.
And who is this going out to?
I talked to Brett, and he said that the most economical way would just to do a mass mailing to all residents.
Okay.
If we narrow it down to just voters, it'll get a little expensive. So I think it would just be best to just send it to every house.
Yeah. So included in that letter, you're going to have a list of where all the voting locations will be.
Right.
And did you say something about an absentee ballot?
The application for a request.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm sorry, Kelly.
No, you're
Yeah.
fine. I may have misspoke, but yes, the application to request a mail ballot, if we can put that in there, that way every household receives one. They can make copies, or they can call in for additional copies if they need it. I think it would just make it easier for people who aren't really sure where to begin looking for one.
And how do we stand with the absentee ballots? Do we have a good number?
Right now, we've received 115 applications.
No, I mean that we have to out.
Yeah, we're good. I've ordered additional supplies, so I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Allie, how do you feel your staff can process those applications if they come in? I mean, we're supposed to have 24-hour turnaround, right? So has that been laxed, or do you think you'll be okay anyway?
We've been good so far, and if we see a huge uptick, a huge increase in numbers, I can certainly call staff in to help with that. But so far it's been manageable. We've been able to get them out the door.
I'm just thinking if you send out this mailing to everyone, you may get like a ton of applications all at once.
Right. As of right now, I've been the one getting them out the door as one person. So if I needed to, I could call in additional staff to help get those processed and out the door. And we could certainly call in another absentee board if that becomes an issue.
Okay.
Any other concerns?
No, I think I'm good on this one.
Okay.
I'm fine.
I will work on a letter to go out. I would like to get it out sooner than later. And then we have our public testing scheduled for April 27th at 2 o'clock. It will be in the museum. I've heard that with commissioners and the nurse and the health department. If anybody who attends can please wear a mask. We're going to keep the 6 feet distance, give Michelle space to do her work. And everyone that does come in will need to sign in and provide contact information for the health department. I don't know if they're going to take everybody's temperatures, but if we can do our best to just keep everybody safe, because all of us are going to be working the election.
Okay, I'm going back to the early election. Did we vote on the 5 locations for Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any questions about public testing?
No, I'm
Okay.
fine. Thanks.
I think that's all I had.
Anyone have anything else? We're into other business.
Do we need vote on the public testing? or not. That's just, it's scheduled with ESNS.
Yeah, we didn't change anything there, right?
I have never announced it because we have not met since February.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to vote. It's just that's when it's scheduled and you just
Yeah.
let us know.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is closed. Thanks, everyone. I know this was a bit of a change, so hopefully if we have to do this again, we can get Sandy. Sandy, I would recommend you install Zoom because that's what I did and it was pretty seamless. You just click on the link and it goes right in.
Yeah, I have it installed. It's just, I don't know what it is, but I'll work on it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, we'll
Yeah.
see you guys.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.